creates more war as opposed to creating more peace. And it's only through this knowledge that even the Bible says that the Word of God needs to be expounded or spread around the world. But a lot of people are only spreading the Bible for their own reason of deception. So they're using something good for their bad, and then using we'll get to that as well. There's a form of structure of how they're built and what they're using in order to destroy lives. Everybody loses. Nobody really wins. They may think they're winning, but then there are those that know that there's an end conclusion. Even the Bible directs towards that. And some people right now are beginning to awaken, and they were like, wow, have I been blind all these years? So they're creating this broken system to control for motives that are negatives, that never fixes people's lives, but instead it ruins them. And it continues on a path of this continuous destruction by land, by air, even animals, and all that sustains us. So it's a war, technically, against life itself. It uses a system of destruction that continues on a path of death by always promises better. It's like the carrot on the stick. They put the carrot just beyond reach, that they would promise you that carrot, and it goes on for thousands of years. Hey, you're going to get this carrot, but they never allow you to grab the carrot because it's always a trick. So they'll have you living in the present, but you're not living with hope, almost like an imaginary hope that promises a better way and better term in life, just for you to lower your guard and continue on the path of destruction, as opposed to saying, wait a minute, I know if we're going to go on a better path, we're sure enough not going to use this system that you're telling me. These people that they're over emotional, so they're terrible from the beginning, and they're going to be even worse to the end. But if you find somebody that lives by the code and their word is their bond, and they fight for the poor, because if you help the poor to be happy, then you can actually see the entire kingdom or country or the whole world then become a better place. But the question is, how do we do it? In which we know how. Well, certain people know how. Actually, the human instruction actually shows the exact way and how this all works. So as people begin to grow, the problem sort of fix itself until eventually we all become enlightened as foretold in prophecy. We'll get into the prophecy section too, because there's a lot of people starting trouble. They want you to kowtow to this self-fulfilling prophecy of destruction and war and fear, as opposed to finding out the true end conclusion. And that's where we all become awakened and enlightened, and it's a total extreme different vibe, being, energy, in which you won't even see things the same just from your pure physical vision. But they continue to use this death system, and for so long it's been there's been warnings about the death system, about people worshiping the dead, and how they look toward the dead. And you're talking about anything that these are secretive rituals that they do. There was great warning of it in the past, because they be just grabbing people, killing people, and doing all this deception. So they sort of hid at one point, but the hiding might have been also because there are evil people that don't want the real truth to be known, so they hoard all the truth. And they can care less what you do with it. I mean, you bury it or whatever, or burn it, and then they continue on this negative direction because they hold or burn libraries and understanding that would deter you from finding the enlightened way. So they're using all these negatives as a tool and continue on this deception until, I guess, the whole world is unbalanced, and by the time that comes, then we're back to a dark age in which people have been robbed of all understanding, and that's really sad, because that's when you see human beings acting like ravaged animals, and then not living a happy life because they're ignorant. They don't know any better. But then once they do know better, it's like it's night and day. Even the animals become better. And then geneticists sometimes say, well, one drop of, they called it black blood, makes you black, or one drop of white blood. I guess the one drop of white blood didn't matter. But, this is a social structure. This is not a biological one. So this is all Mickey Mouse. And, they have you believe that, I like Mickey Mouse, but I'm just saying they have you believe that it's like a cartoon reasoning that there's no logic to it. But, they say that in order to perpetuate and to keep this negative understanding going. But there's no distinct genetic identity. In fact, there are many variations, even within the same peoples. Humans are 99.9 identical on a genetic level, with 0.1 differences caused by well, some people say it's junk DNA. Some people say that it's other forms of it, but basically, the skin color is determined by the number of genes or genetics, natural variations within those genes, and the root cause to the spectrum of course, skin types. But I'm trying not to go into a lot of this scientific terminology, because even the scientists will figure out, once they get the full instruction, they'll be like, okay, we have an idea how to go into what they want to go into. I'm not sure exactly what the field they want to go into, but we try to keep it just basic. And the biggest problem to the ebony man is the sellout. So they're always saying, see, that's what they do. They're blaming the white man did this, again, the white man. The boogeyman is the white man. But meanwhile, the real boogeyman is your sellout brother. Show me any brother or any person, or any ebony or whatever color, I don't care, whatever color he is. Show me any person that's willing to double cross anybody for money, and I'll show you somebody who is not your people. Ever is he your people. He's always your enemy. I remember one time I saw a group of people. There was a couple ebony brothers there, and I was just hanging out with them, and they were saying, would you do this for it's just joking around, would you do this for $100,000? Would you do this for $1 million? Some people will throw you under the bus for very little money, or do sexual acts for money, and I was like, nah, I wouldn't do none of that. And they was like teasing me. I'm the bad guy out because I'm not willing to sell my brother out. So if they put me in a position of, hey, we're going to put you in this position, you better believe I'm going to watch your back. Even to the people that are trying to bribe me, I'm going to watch their back by saying, hey, I'm not going to take your money, and I'm watching your back because I'm doing you a service, and because I'm not taking your money, and so therefore I won't get in trouble, and I'm not going to rat you out. Because they're not, there's no loyalty there. It's only about money. Somebody else had to pay me or offer me another position or something else in order to rat you out. In the same way, that person sold the other person out, they'll sell you out too. So you're just a big sellout. So all these people that are talking and they're stealing from their own people, which is the enemy, but saying, no, I'm not the enemy, that's the enemy. And then they'll get angry about it. I'm like, look, man, you got to be logical, but if you're going to be this over-emotional, that's not going to win your reasoning. Unless you're just a big person who just, you don't know what's going on, so you're like, oh, this person is serious, so it must be true. No, that's the way they lie. That's their clout. It's not to use logic. They don't stand on terra firma of truth, but they stand on over-emotional and might is right, and don't piss me off, or, I'm going to hurt you to get you to be quiet, as opposed to saying, well, let's yield to the truth together. But no, it's the opposite. They're sellouts. So that's your biggest problem, is finding out or asking the person, hey man, will you do this and this? And they'll say, oh, I'll do that for $100,000 or whatever. Selling their own people out, selling their own children out. Wow. I'm like, damn. Not knowing exactly where the blessings lie and where the curses are. And then when they're wrapped up in all this trouble, or they bring themselves to hell by their own choices, they'll be like, oh, now God is bad. God is bad when you did all the bad and you had a choice, but you chose. So you chose, okay, this is the structure I'm in. So the end conclusion is, okay, let's put all the people with the same conclusion, the same understanding together. This is the life you chose. You didn't choose a life of loving one another and helping one another. On the contrary, mon frere, you're over there starting trouble, selling out your own people, and then smiling, acting like you all nice. Oh, I can do this for you and that for you. But in the meantime, they're selling you out. They can truly care less about it. It's all an act. There's no real source there. There's no loyalty. There's no love. So, they're serving mammon, not God. And, it's sad to say, but many of the Democratic Party has been using all kinds of people to harbor fugitives, to rob you of your future, to get you to hate each other. It's just sad, man. They want you to become thieves instead of becoming men of honor, to keep you in a state of anger instead of a state of peace. They want you to harbor criminals and fugitives instead of bringing justice to them and teaching them, hey man, let's move past this and let's move to enlightenment. They want you to commit crimes, to kill, to hurt one another. So therefore, you look evil, and then people perceive you as evil. And then you perceive yourself as evil because you're doing all this. The truth is that you're going to the wicked side. But if you do good, and you get hit with the secret gift, then all that changes. But for now, they want you to live in a state of fear as opposed to a state of love. They want you to launder money and, it's just everything the wrong way to instill evil. It's evil worship, to sell your soul for some money and then find out the money was never worth it. Because you create the money unless the money creates you. Directly or indirectly, having you join them, which actually dumbs you down and turns you out into what they created, like a monster, like the Frankenstein's monster, and they're the Frankenstein. To commit crimes mentally, physically, emotionally against your fellow man, and literally your fellow man. I mean, your man or your wife or your children. They're committing all these different illegal acts, and again, then your reputation is crap. Instead of saying, "Oh, you know what? That's a new Nubian flying by. Let's show our respect." They'll be like, "Nah, that's a black nipper, yo. You watch your bag, yo. Check your wallet. The black nipper walking by." They're trying to create that. That's not you. That's what they're trying to create. This evil straw man of you. It's like, nah, that's not the way it goes. So they have an ebony man saying he hates the white man, and then sitting next to you, and he's screaming, "I hate the white man. I hate the white man." And so your ebony brother's saying that, and then he walk away, and next thing you know, you're singing the same song. "Oh yeah, I hate the white man." It's like a song. Somebody sit next to you and they sing a song, la 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 la. Next thing you, they leave, and you're singing the same song. Unless you know the song was crooked, I mean, you might play around. "Oh yeah, you know, blah 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 blah. That's the song he's singing." By the time he left, he takes his hate and his song with him, as opposed to you being ignorant, not knowing. So they create an apathy towards one another instead of being sympathetic and loving towards one another, because that's power. That's real power. It go right into your bones. And then you're not ignorant. When somebody calls you a nipper, you be like, "Nah, quit playing yourself." So you the nipper using that word, saying I'm a nipper. So, now you get to understand that, it's the ignorant person calling you ignorant, trying to get you to be ignorant. So if he comes up and he says, "Oh, you black nipper," or whatever, say, "Go ahead, man." Why you laughing at him? Because now the jig is up. So they want you to disrespect one another, so you call each other bitches and hoes, or he's a punk or a snitch, and not realizing, well, then what are you? Are you an enlightened brother that's out here building for the people? When was the last time you went out and tried to help some of your people? Mentally, physically, spiritually, any which way but loose. When was the last time you did that? And I'm not talking about freight loss, going somewhere, paying somebody to get knocked out, and then your butt swollen while you're walking away the day after, saying, "What happened?" You don't know. They wasn't out to help you. If anything, he was better off for all that money he spent on a party. He was finding he should have thrown a nice party, or somebody should have thrown a nice party, deliberately picking poor people, finding people, I don't care if they're homeless or whatever, and they're just trying to help them out individually, and then helping them so they can help others, because when a person's been that low, they know exactly what to do and how to get out of it, and then that person helps another person and helps another person, and eventually, people here. But you also need to understand is that you may get pushback from the same people, because now they look bad. They look bad because they are bad. They ain't doing nothing to help anybody else out, but they're looking to fulfill their lust. So they disrespect one another. They have zero self-control. And if you put them on the spot and show them how, just ask them to be calm or wait a minute or whatever, and they have zero self-control, so where they're claiming like, "Oh, you're not my boss, you're not my dad," or whatever. Now I realize you're trying to help them out, but depending on how they say it. So, They want you to live in this pain and suffering in order for you to abuse one another, rob one another, kill one another, have bad reputations, to live in pain and suffering, to be poor all of your lives, except those who sell their soul to the devil and want to betray you and steal from you. The ability to put these mental chains on you, to impoverish you. Again, all ebony folk is not your folk. So you have to let these evil individuals, and the Democratic Party, man, they need to improve. There's a good way to do a Democratic Party. So then you have the Democratic creationist, and you have the Republican who always wants to keep everything the same. But between both of them, you have, you synergize, and then you'll create a better world for both of them. So instead of both of them attacking one another, well, actually, it's only one side. They got to, whatever. If your party is attacking the other person because you don't like their policies, then you need to come up with a better policy. Because you might have a worse policy, and the fact that you're not saying anything, it draws a lot of suspicion. And so, their main objective is to make money off you one way or another. Now, you don't need to work for them to make money out of you. They could just lock you up and say, hey, I'm housing this guy, I need some money. And then give him money, a lot of money. You